No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Friday Night Smackdown for July 29th, 2022, one night before Summerslam in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, of course, NoDQ.com will keep you updated regarding SummerSlam, live results coverage on NoDQ, match by match, and I will be back after SummerSlam to give my thoughts on the show. Sunday, we have Ric Flair's last match. That's coming up on Sunday. Busy weekend. Shout out to everybody for tuning in tonight and watching, whether it's live or on demand. Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat. Frequent No DQ review personality says, say yes to No DQ, share and like. Thank you for that, Walter Cruz. I appreciate it. We had our opening match. We actually went straight to a match to kick off the show. A good old-fashioned Donnybrook, as they called it, between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, with the winner going on to challenge for the unified WWE title at Clash at the Castle. Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. Sheamus jumped McIntyre during McIntyre's entrance. We had a bunch of props. We had several barrels. We had a little bar that was set up with photos of Sheamus's ancestors. I don't know about you guys, but I always enjoy these types of matches. To me, they're fun when they do these little gimmicked street fights with various props. I like them. Anyways, this was a very lengthy match. This went for about the first half hour of SmackDown. Back and forth match. We had tables involved, with which the crowd very much appreciated. You had Sheamus using one of the shillelaghs, and in this match, anything was legal except for Drew McIntyre's sword, Angela. McIntyre was able to throw Sheamus into one of the barrels, and a bunch of chairs were thrown into the ring. McIntyre hit the Future Shock DDT onto the steel chairs, but then we had Ridge Holland attacking McIntyre with the shillelagh. Sheamus then hit a running knee, but McIntyre was able to kick out. McIntyre was able to recover from that, and McIntyre ended up suplexing Holland into a table that was set up against the barricade at ringside. And then another table got set up in the ring. Sheamus was thrown into the bar, not his former tag team that consisted of him and Cesaro, but rather thrown into the little bar that was set up on the outside of the ring. But then Butch jumped off one of the barrels onto McIntyre. And then Sheamus got McIntyre back into the ring. Sheamus took a chair and smashed the chair into McIntyre. Sheamus then hit a white noise off the second rope, and he went for the cover, but McIntyre kicked out. Crowd started chanting, "This is awesome." They were loving this. And Butch gave Sheamus a large shillelagh. Sheamus missed. And then McIntyre used the shillelagh on both Butch and Sheamus. McIntyre hit a Claymore, but Butch ended up taking the bullet. Sheamus came in with the bro kick. 1, 2, kick out. McIntyre kicked out of the bro kick. Crowd was going crazy. Sheamus was then powerbombed by McIntyre through a table in the ring. Sheamus tried to grab for a shillelagh, but McIntyre hit him with the Claymore. 1, 2, 3, scored the victory. Big win here. Drew McIntyre officially going to clash at the Castle in the United Kingdom in Wales. And then afterwards, we had McIntyre interviewed in the ring. He said that he is going to take the title off a part-time champion, whether it's Reigns or Lesnar. But then all of a sudden, Austin Theory attacked McIntyre with the briefcase, laying him out. Austin Theory trying to get some payback from Monday Night Raw. Building Nexus sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, do you think if Theory fails to cash in at SummerSlam and goes on a slump, they could tell the story about how everything went wrong once Daddy left? I suppose you could tell that story. I just think it's a real shame. It's a shameful thing, Lobsterhead, that Theory is such a joke as the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. I really think they should have gone with Seth freaking Rollins for the Money in the Bank contract. Would have been way more interesting in my opinion. But yeah, since Theory won Money in the Bank, they have booked him like a total prelim guy. Really, they have. Like, they've been pushing him on TV, but I feel like he loses more matches than he wins matches, and he just comes off like a prelim guy who's nowhere in the league of the real stars like Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and even Drew McIntyre. They could possibly redeem him, but yeah, if he fails to cash in, he's going to be even more of a joke. And if he does cash in, what does it say when he's been losing like crazy and then he just flukes his way into a WWE title victory? And if you recall, Theory was added to that match at the last minute, so he really didn't even earn the opportunity to begin with. Not a fan with how this whole thing is played out with Theory, but we'll get to more on Theory in just a little bit. And Fizzy Fuzz wants to know if it's worse than Otis's booking. I'm not sure if anything could be worse than that, but maybe Theory loses the briefcase to somebody else. Otis did end up losing to The Miz, although they treated Miz like a joke as well when he won the title and then quickly lost it to Bobby Lashley. Remember that? Miz was WWE champion in 2021. Pretty crazy, huh? There's something we really don't ever talk about because, well, it was lame. We had Happy Corbin showing up at ringside. He bought a ticket and he had a sign, a mugshot photo of Pat McAfee with loser written above it. And he sat right behind McAfee. You had the announcers, McAfee and Michael Cole, going over the SummerSlam card. But as they were doing this, Corbin was throwing popcorn at McAfee, which I thought was pretty amusing. Like, for a Happy Corbin segment, this was very well done. Just him antagonizing McAfee. And then Corbin eventually jumped the barricade. Officials ran down there to try and break up a potential brawl. But then Corbin hit a low kick to McAfee. He kicked him low. And doesn't matter who you are, how much machismo you have, you get kicked in that region, you're going down. And McAfee was knocked down. And Corbin gets some heat before the pay-per-view or the premium live event. I wonder if they'll go back to pay-per-view. We'll see. I know a lot of people hate that I use PLE on NoDQ.com, but I'm towing the company line here, damn it. But if they go back to pay-per-view, I will go back to pay-per-view. Good angle here. I liked it to set up the match. And then Theory was backstage. He was interviewed, and he talked about how people are jealous of him. That's not going to stop him. Reigns isn't going to stop him. Lesnar's not going to stop him. He will successfully cash in Money in the Bank at SummerSlam, and then he ran into Paul Heyman. So a little tease what's going on here with Heyman and Theory. We then had Shotzi in the ring. No entrance for Shotzi. Now, for the most part in wrestling history, when somebody gets no entrance, they're doing the JOB. It was Shotzi versus Aliyah, and Aliyah got Shotzi, or I should say Shotzi got Aliyah in the Boston Crab, but Aliyah got to the rope, and then Shotzi threw Aliyah into the ring post, got her back in the ring, and hit the Never Wake Up DDT to score the victory over Aliyah. So yes, Shotzi, who got no entrance, picked up the win over Aliyah. And yes, Steve-O, you can still order a WWE event on traditional pay-per-view. Obviously, there are very few people that do this. I think it's only a few thousand for WWE pay-per-views. But yes, it still happens to this day. Shotzi won, and then afterwards, you had Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey backstage. I guess they were doing a photo shoot, and they were interrupted by Natalya and Sonya Deville. This led to Ronda Rousey storming down to the ring. Shotzi was still there. Shotzi tried to take a cheap shot. Ronda Rousey beat her up, hit her with the Piper's Pit. I don't think this was necessary. Like, I was cool with Shotzi getting a win here, but then they had to do this segment where Shotzi gets laid out again by Ronda. Like, what was the point of this? Just do the tag match. So we had the tag match, Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Sonya Deville. One of these scenarios where you have the opponents teaming up together. Can they coexist? Dr. Scorpio sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, was it this week supposed to be Lacey Evans versus Aliyah? Yes, but Michael Cole said on commentary that Lacey Evans was not medically cleared. And a lot of the time that can be a certain virus that has been going around for the better part of 2 years. Could be something else, though. But when they don't disclose it, I tend to think it's the C word. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is with Lacey Evans. She was not on the show, not medically cleared, according to Michael Cole, and that was that. So anyways, we had the tag team match, and the storyline in this match was that Liv Morgan wanted to get things done without Ronda Rousey. Liv Morgan hit a code breaker to Natalya after she got worked over for a while. So she was needing to tag out, but she did not tag out. She went for a cover instead. Natalya kicked out, and Liv had another opportunity to tag in, but she did not do it. Eventually, Ronda just tagged herself in, hit the Piper's Pit to Sonya. Natalya tried to come in, but Liv took her out with the Oblivion, and then Ronda put the ankle lock on Sonya. Sonya tapped out. And Ronda got the win for her team. And I guess this builds up a little bit of heat for the Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan match. Oh, and by the way, Ronda got on the mic again, calling out the heel tag team. And she told a fan to shut up and said, what was it? Something like, I'm not even sure what the line was. I totally forgot already. But Ronda had words with some fan about being catcalled or something. Somebody in the chat room, what was Ronda Rousey's line towards that fan? Throw it at me. So we had another segment here with Jeff Jarrett. Oh, your mother failed you. That's what Ronda Rousey said to the fan. Thank you for that, John Colombo. We had Jeff Jarrett in the ring with the Street Profits and the tag team champions, the Usos. And Jeff Jarrett was going to give them instructions, but instead they had questions. They wanted to know if they would be DQ'd if they did a certain move during the match. And Jarrett said he's going to let them run wild at SummerSlam. He's only going to count a 1, 2, 3 or call a submission. He's got one job. That's what he's going to do. And he said whatever issues they have, they could settle it right there on SmackDown. A fight broke out, but then Jeff Jarrett got super kicked accidentally by Jey Uso. Jarrett got up and he shoved both of the Usos, and then Ford hit a big dive to the outside, taking out the Usos. And now I'm second guessing my prediction. I was going with the Street Profits. I know the Usos are the favorites to win, the betting on favorites, but I just feel like there are no other teams to go against the Usos for the titles after this. Like, you really don't have another babyface team unless Johnny Gargano gets called up, signs a new deal, and Ciampa goes babyface, and you have DIY versus the Usos. I'd be down for that. I don't know if they're going to do that. But yeah, I feel like the Street Profits are not breaking up yet, so what the hell? I'm sticking with my prediction, but I'm really not confident with it. We had another Maximum Male Models vignette. This time it was modeling the SummerSlam beachwear collection, like SummerSlam bathing suits and whatnot, and t-shirts. Maxine Dupree was there. But then, in what might have been a surprise to some people, Max, LA Knight, Eli Drake is back with the Maximum Male Models. So there was a report that he was no longer going to be part of the group. But then there was another report that with Vince McMahon retiring, Max might be brought back into the equation. And in fact, Max Dupree is back with the Maximum Male Models. You got Max, Maxine, Mansois, and Massey, the four members of this group. So, I mean, I know people were disappointed about LA Knight not being a thing again, but I mean, these segments are goofy, but the one guy that was making it work, in my opinion, was Max. So I'm glad he's back. Like, I feel like the only chance this group really has is with Max and his personality making it work. So we'll see what happens with it. I don't know what the future of this group is in the Triple H regime, but time will tell. Then we had the New Day going up against the new and vicious Viking Raiders. This was a pretty basic tag team match here. The Vikings got the early advantage on Kofi. They beat him down for a while. Kofi hit an SOS and tagged out to Xavier Woods. Xavier got in some offense, but then Kofi tagged back in, and then Kofi was double power bombed by the Raiders and got pinned 1, 2, 3. Decisive victory here for the new and vicious Viking Raiders. And then they lived up to their new moniker, because after the match, Xavier Woods tried to help out Kofi. He got taken out with a shield. He got blasted with it. And then the Vikings wrapped Xavier's leg in a chair and then used the shields to smash the leg of Xavier. Xavier's leg was wrapped in the chair. This was a good angle. I did like the angle. I liked the deal with the shields, and Xavier sold like a mother effer, getting hit with the shield and then the leg being smashed by the shields. Good stuff here. I liked it. I like what they're doing with the Vikings. But here's the thing, too. You're building up the Viking Raiders as heels I think you need a babyface tag team for them to challenge for the titles. Street Profits. That's why I'm sticking with the Street Profits, because if you're building up the Viking Raiders as a top dominant monster team, they need a babyface team to challenge. Thus, the Street Profits win the tag team titles. We'll see. And then we had our main event segment of the evening. We had Paul Heyman in the ring cutting a promo, talking about how Roman Reigns is going to put down Brock Lesnar for 10 seconds, and Brock Lesnar will be victimized. Roman Reigns will hold both titles in the air, and they will be done with Brock Lesnar once and for all. Lesnar arrived, of course, and then Theory attempted another attack with the briefcase. Brock Lesnar quickly fought him off. Brock Lesnar took Theory to Suplex City, and then Theory was sent to the outside of the ring. Drew McIntyre showed up and laid out Theory with the Claymore. So they really made Theory to look like the biggest geek in the world. He got his ass kicked by Lesnar, got his ass kicked by McIntyre. And if Theory wins the world title, what a joke, right? I don't know what they're doing here. I just don't think Theory's cashing in. I really think you have to rebuild Theory before you cash in Money in the Bank, or at least attempt to. And we had a little stare down between McIntyre and Lesnar. So as I mentioned on my video, my predictions for SummerSlam, I would not rule out Brock Lesnar winning the title and facing McIntyre. Or they have a triple threat at Clash at the Castle. I just don't think Lesnar's losing to Reigns for the third time. Lesnar lost at Crown Jewel, lost at WrestleMania. Is Lesnar really going to lose to Reigns again? That's why part of me is thinking Lesnar beats Reigns in the last man standing match, wins the title, and then they do the McIntyre match. Reigns insists on his rematch. They do a three-way at Clash at the Castle, and maybe McIntyre wins the title there. Maybe he beats Lesnar. Maybe he beats Reigns. But regardless, I do think McIntyre will win the title at Clash at the Castle. But yeah, they kept you wondering, is it going to be Reigns or is it going to be Brock Lesnar as McIntyre's opponent? Overall, I thought SmackDown was a pretty good show. I thought that the Sheamus McIntyre match was excellent. Definitely worth checking out. A pay-per-view quality match. One of the best TV matches of the year from any promotion. And I liked the Usos segment with the Street Profits and Jeff Jarrett. I mean, there was a lot of good stuff on the show overall. So I'm giving it a B+. I thought this was a very good final SmackDown before the pay-per-view. Pretty solid. And I thought they did some good build-up. I liked the Corbin segment with McAfee too. So there was some good segments on this show. Mo Camera with a $2.79 super chat says Maximum Males plus New Day says cater to the LGBTQ community. And what's the problem with that, Mo Camera? I don't think there's a problem with that. I like the Maximum Male models, and I don't care who they're catering to. I think they're entertaining. I think the segments are goofy, but I think with Max Dupree in there, they have a fighting chance. And Building Nexus with a $2 super chat says, thoughts on Dwight Howard maybe coming to WWE? Is that the basketball guy? I don't really know who he is, but I heard he was at the tryout. So, yeah, I guess, if he's interested in WWE, that could give WWE some mainstream publicity. I just don't know how big of a star he is, because, I'm not a sports guy. Somebody with more knowledge would be able to say if that's a big deal should he make an appearance in WWE. But I really don't know his level of star power in his industry. Joey Perez says he's a poor man Shaquille O'Neal. So again, I don't know. So I couldn't say if he would make a big impact in WWE or not. Michael Wayne says he's a 2-time NBA champion. I guess that does mean something. And I'm fine with it. If he wants to do it, then sure, why not? If he actually has the passion for wrestling, then I say give him a shot. If he's just doing it for a paycheck or whatever, then no. So it just depends on what his priorities are. If he legitimately wants to do it for fun and he cares about wrestling, then give him a shot. What the hell? So anyways, guys, B+ show, very good. I would recommend it. I was entertained with this week's SmackDown. I thought they did some good segments to build up the pay-per-view. Maybe the best show of the week. Actually, I probably would say it was the best show of the week between Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. SummerSlam coverage this weekend, Ric Flair coverage. Jeff Meacham's doing a watch along of the Ric Flair pay-per-view. Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Walter. I appreciate it. Says Velveteen Dream would have fit right into the group. Maximum Male Models. Yeah, you're right. I think he would have been a good fit, although I think Velveteen Dream, if all that stuff didn't happen with him, I think he would have been best off on his own. I don't think he needed to be in a group. But yeah, they potentially could have put him in that group and he could have made that work. Anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Enjoy SummerSlam. And I will see you all next time. And don't forget, say yes to NoDQ.com. Take care, everybody. See you after SummerSlam.